So we all call the city of Calgary home, and that means we all know what Calgary is like during those 10 days every summer of Calgary Stampede. So are you guys more the head down to the Stampede grounds, take in the fun kind of people, or get out of town and avoid the congestion kind of people?
For us, it depends on the year, but we do like an excuse to don our cowboy boots and hats.
Well, and this may make us sound like we're not very fun people, but we do tend to avoid anything to do with Stampede when it comes to town.
Yeah, we're a little bit more the avoiders too. Every now and then we get into it and have a good Stampede year, but yeah, I would say in general, more avoid. But Calgary during Stampede, it always makes me think of what Jerusalem must have been like during the Passover time. Loud, busy, potentially chaotic. And we are in John chapter 5 in our homework today, and we see in the story that there's this man who he might be where the party's at, but he cannot pay the fee to get in. And he is in Jerusalem. He's in the temple courtyard where all the action is, but he's lame. He can't move. And so he is laying beside the edge of this pool called Bethesda. And why is he here? Why in this particular part of the temple complex?
Well, he's at this particular pool because it was said that the angel of the Lord would come down and stir up the waters. And if you got into the pool while the waters were being stirred, you would be healed.
Yeah, but because he's lame, he can't get into the waters on his own. He would need someone to actually carry him down into the pools. So he's lying there hoping that at the exact right moment, someone's going to come along, take pity on him, and help him into the waters.
And it seems like such a long shot, really, because what are the odds of the temple waters being stirred? And then if they were, what are the odds that there would be somebody there who could help him into the water at that exact time? And we can see from the passage that there was multitudes of invalids laying beside this pool. So I mean, even more than that, what are the chances that the waters are stirred, there's somebody there to help him into the water and him out of all of the multitudes?
Well, verses 5 and 6 of John chapter 5 really back up the fact that this is a long shot. They say that he has been lame for 38 years and he's already been sitting beside this pool for a long time.
And so this lame man who's betting on the long shot, he is laying beside a pool whose name means house of mercy. When Jesus shows up, what happens when Jesus encounters him?
Jesus asks him, "Do you want to be healed?"
And the man essentially says, I have no one to help me.
Well, so to that, Jesus says to him, "Get up, take up your bed and walk." And John writes that at once the man was healed.
Yeah, Jesus spoke and immediately what he said happened.
Yeah. Okay, so there's lots of people in the city of Jerusalem. There's tons of people in the temple complex because this is Passover in general, and we know there's multitudes of people lying around this pool in particular. And so it seems obvious that something this spectacular, a man who has been lame, we're assuming most of his life, just suddenly getting up and walking, it's going to be noticed. And so how do the people react when he does this?
Well, it says that the Jewish religious leaders, they encounter this man and they start asking him some questions. Why are you carrying your bed around on the Sabbath? Don't you know that that's against our laws?
And the man who's been healed deflects. And he says, I'm just doing what the man who healed me told me to do. So don't blame me.
Yeah. And we read that this man, he actually didn't know who had healed him because Jesus allowed himself to be swallowed up in the crowd that was in that area that day. And so Jesus, he seeks him out again, just like he did the first time. He seeks him out a second time and he says to him, "See, you're well. Sin no more so that nothing worse happens to you." And how does this man respond to Jesus's warning?
He rats Jesus out. He finds the religious leaders that had been questioning him and says, I do know who healed me. It was Jesus.
And I find this disheartening to read because this man, he'd been lame for most, if not all of his life. And then this is how he treats the person who heals him.
I know. Like, I feel like he is such a hard character to like, to be honest. I don't really like him when I read it. Because he experiences this physical healing from Jesus, but he doesn't pay any attention to the warning that he's been given regarding his need for spiritual healing. it seems like he's happy with the gift, but not super interested in the giver. And I just wonder, do you think we can hear Jesus's warning just like he got it then? We need it today.
For sure, we are often just as guilty as wanting the gift without allowing the gift to point us to the giver, because we think that the gifts themselves are the main point, so we don't look beyond them towards the one who actually gave them.
Yeah, and this guy, he'd been on the outside of the party, and now he's invited in, and yet he doesn't seem changed or even grateful.
Yeah. And so as we close today, we're going to zoom in on a sentence that John just kind of slips in after the healing, and it's almost like it's an afterthought. It says at the end of verse 9, now that day, so the day that the lame man had been healed, was the Sabbath. But we know by now that John is a skilled writer, so it is no accident where that sentence has been slipped in. What's John doing?
Well, he's pointing to the readers that Jesus healing on the Sabbath is actually an important part of this story.
Yeah, like John is saying that the fact that this impotent man received new life on the Sabbath, it's something to notice.
And I guess you're going to have to come back tomorrow to find out what the importance of it is. But as we close today, let's close with the words of John chapter 1, verses 3-4, where it says, all things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life. And so let's find out more what all of this means tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.